Take holders, pleb. Sibs, we turn knowledge into power. This is the Plebs Roost channel, where underdogs rise.
In a world where knowledge is power and confidence is key, we rise from the depths of adversity.
Started from the bottom, just a pleb on the chain. No fame, no gain, just struggle and strain. But I studied the code, learned to ride the wave. Crypto taught me how to build and how to brave. From the ashes of doubt, I mine my worth. While the world tried to crash me, I found rebirth. Bitcoin in my brain, blockchain in my soul.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Crypto Plebs channel. It's your boy Jumpman Crypto. I hope everybody's enjoying their weekend. A lot of stuff is happening today in these last few days. And, the news is very packed with a lot of things that have been going down with Trump and Mr. Elon. I debated on making a video about this because I feel like it's just been covered by so many people. And quite frankly, I'm really just fed up with all this stuff that's been going down lately. I'm strictly just trying to make some money and get up out these streets, man, and try to, elevate my life. And it just seems like, it's just one thing after another. If it's not any drama that's happening in the White House, it's tariffs. If it's not tariffs, it's some other type of stuff that's popping off in other states. Guys, we're in for a long couple of years, man. But you know what? Look, I'm still bullish. I'm still hopeful. And I still believe in this country, guys, even though there's so many doubters and naysayers out here. We just got to stay focused. I think the crypto sector is probably the most driest I've ever seen it. I think a lot of people are giving up. They're losing hope. And the sad part is most of these people just got in January and they've already lost hope. I've been in this cycle since 2018. This cycle technically began in around 2022, 2023. That's when I got in through the bear market. Around that time, if your boy is hanging tough, you should be hanging tough, especially you guys that just got in for a couple months. You don't even have skin in the game. So you got to kind of, relax. This stuff takes time, guys. There's a lot of stuff happening in the market. So, let's just briefly talk about this Trump and Musk stuff. I don't want to cover it too much because I think everybody's already done a really great job of covering this. We've had all types of reports over the last few days that, Trump and Elon basically are parting ways. Elon was tripping. I said a couple of things that, maybe he shouldn't have said. I know from a business aspect, Elon probably was thinking more on the sides of protecting his business, which is understandable. But, some things were said. And, I think, unfortunately, this is going to probably separate ways with the two. Like I said, in my personal opinion, I think that it just makes us look bad as a country. I think we should be seeing, unification with our world leaders, especially big influencers like, Trump and Elon. But, the old saying, too many chiefs and not enough Indians, when you have these two type of polarizing individuals in the same room, I think that was bound to happen. I think, a lot of people were already foreseeing this. So, unfortunately, it happened the way it did. I've been kind of just going down the rabbit hole over the weekend, really thinking about possible ways how this could really affect the crypto markets as far as like, Elon's SpaceX does hold a lot of Bitcoin, and we've known that, Elon Musk has said a few things about Bitcoin and crypto in the past. So it just makes me wonder, could this potentially be an issue down the road with maybe potentially Tesla and SpaceX selling off Bitcoin or anything like that? So, we just got to make sure that we always stay optimistic to all different types of possibilities in this market. I don't think they hold a lot of Bitcoin, but the thing is with these markets, they're so finicky with any type of bearish sentiment, would most definitely cause the markets cascading down. So, I'm not causing any FUD. I don't think that's anything that we have to worry about right now, but it's just definitely something that we should always keep in the back of our minds. So, we just hope that later on in time, these guys can hopefully at least be on somewhat of good speaking terms. I know Elon took down those posts. So hopefully, these guys can maybe mend some stuff up, for the sake of the country. But anyways, guys, let's talk about some tokens. Enough of all this stuff, man. This is a crypto channel. I know that, politics are very taboo in this space, but fortunately they've invaded the crypto community. So we just got to report it. Let's cover Bitcoin real quick because, Bitcoin, as always, is the daddy, and we always got to cover the daddy. So look, check this out, man. Bitcoin is at 105,538. I called for, this trend line that if we broke below this 103.226, we were going short. We shorted this, and we were able to sweep some of this liquidity up, and now we're back above. Some people are still kind of finicky about this. I think that this is a bullish signal right here, V-shaped recovery. We swept all this liquidity down here, rose back up. I am looking for us to try to re-challenge this, see if we can pull back up to this breaker box up here around 110, maybe 109, see what's going to happen. But if we're going to stay bullish, guys, and we're going to continue this bull run, we need to get above 110 and stay there. We can't keep doing this, coming up and then coming back down, coming up and coming back down. We have to get up here and stay. There's just a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of bad macro events right now that are just causing the market to kind of go haywire. We're going up and down, up and down, up and down. And unfortunately, alts are just always getting smashed. So until we get these rate cuts, guys, like I've said over and over and over again, the way to play this is if we get a nice pump up, it would probably be wise to sell your alts, move into Bitcoin, and just kind of rinse and repeat until this stuff gets cycled out, until we actually get a proper bull run. Because, unfortunately, there's just so much stuff happening from, Ukrainian and Russian escalations with their war. Sorry, guys, I got tongue tied. And then just all the stuff that's popping off with, Jerome Powell and Trump, CPI data and everything, guys. It's just everything like that can cause the markets to come down. And I truly believe that we have a lot of market exhaustion right now, and there's not a lot of retail buyers, mainly because of, what's happening today in the world. People have to make decisions about feeding their families or buying fartcoin. And I think that most responsible families are trying to put food on the table. So until we get this liquidity injections in the market, I think this is the way it's going to continue to be until we get these rate cuts. And even at that, guys, it's not just going to be like, the rate cuts come and then all of a sudden everything's going to go to the moon, Valhalla, Lambos for everybody. It's going to take time, guys. My thesis was that, around July, we may have to adjust this, and maybe this might be later 2025, maybe possible 2026 top, or maybe it might still happen in July. You never know. We got some data next week, so we got to make sure that we're staying up to date and just paying attention to all these possible scenarios. But for right now, I'm just looking for Bitcoin to stay above this 103, and we have to stay above 100K, guys. If we start getting down here into this 90K zone, technically, yes, the bull run's not over, but it just makes this a little bit more uncomfortable for the markets, especially with altcoins. The further down we go, you already know it's just going to keep bleeding down. It's going to get very uncomfortable. Your bags will go down 20, 30%. And I just, it's not going to be pretty. So let's just hope that we can keep above here. Let's hope we get some good data this weekend. I'm expecting a pump. So, let's see what happens. All right, next things up, let's talk about Ethereum. ETH has been doing pretty good. I know a lot of people are freaking out, but look, again, I've talked to my personal Discord and even talked to some of the people in the KGU. We've had a nice run up from here. We've been basically just staying in the range. We had basically a lower high right here, and we're just building this new level. I think 2,500 is building support right here. We're going to try to get this push up. We need to clear this 2,600 and hopefully stay above it, and let this 2,700 be our next support, maybe 2,600. And we just continue the next phases up. I did call for a $3,000 ETH this week, which I called a couple weeks back. Probably won't get to it. If I didn't foresee, the young and the restless arguments happening, that kind of derailed the technical analysis. So, look, I've seen a few people say it, and I've always said it, that I truly believe that technical analysis is somewhat out the window this cycle. This can be invalidated with a simple tweet. Trump gets on Truth Social or he gets on any one of these platforms and starts saying what he says. Technical analysis and all that stuff can just be completely thrown out the window. It can't detect, what somebody's going to say. I know a lot of hardcore TA people, they say that it's all in the charts. And while yes, some stuff it doesn't predict human human emotions, and it doesn't predict a man that wants to just raise hell. So, like I said, if Trump were to come on, True Social and said that, hey, they landed a deal with China or something like that, yeah, this ETH is going to go to the moon. So, at the end of the day, we just got to kind of wait and see how all this plays out. Right now I got a leverage position limit order at 2480 for a 5x leverage long on Ethereum. So let's see how this plans out. And shout out to FemX, by the way, if you guys are looking for an exchange where you guys are looking to leverage trade, sign up with FemX. The links will be below. We are crushing it every day in my personal Discord, and I post levels in the KGU as well. If you guys are looking for that, just tap in, DM me anytime you guys need anything. But like I said, this is right now is the opportunity to be trading these volatility levels right here. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. It's good to buy and hold and make good investments, but when the market has a lot of volatility like this is a time to trade. We've been making some really good cash. I've had a few members like my boy Jacob, my boy Iggy, my boy Gil, and a few others that have just been killing it, man. I think Jacob's actually been the trader of the week. So, shout out to him. And we're just doing it, guys. Like I said, at the end of the day, look, you can learn how to trade or you can just, buy and hold. There's nothing wrong with either one of those strategies. But, at the end of the day, it's always just a great way to make passive income. So, anyways, we covered Bitcoin, we covered ETH. Let's get down to Mr. XRP. XRP is looking really bullish right now, guys. We have a few good patterns that popped up. We have a falling wedge and we have a double bottom. Both indicators are popping up above, 250. These aren't always reliable. Sometimes these trigger and then they get invalidated by somebody that tweets something. So we just got to hope to God that, homie can stay off the phone and he can get some stuff done and hopefully keep the drama away. But guys, I don't know if you guys heard, but there's been some ETF filings. They're moving silently, guys, while all the fear, while the softies are selling their bags and packing up because they're giving up hope. All these big corporations, all these big hedge funds and stuff like that, they're strategizing their next move. They got all these ETF packages coming out, and big banks and big players are stacking up, guys. Well, it's just the same old stuff. Retail and stupid investors, they just sell their bags. I can tell you from me running both discords that I'm in, I see so much of the sentiment that's at an all-time low. And usually those are the times that you should be tapped in, guys. So right now, I would most definitely be looking at picking some assets up. It could be anywhere between, XRP, ADA, Sol. A lot of these tokens that are going to be getting these ETF filings, you need to start taking positions. I wouldn't just say, hey, start blindly buying, but start DCAing in. If you're seeing some stuff still down from where it was a few weeks ago, months ago, take some positions. Start maybe with 10%, 20%. You don't have to go all in, but take maybe 10%. And as the price goes down, DCA, and the price goes down to a nice support level, then you can increase your DCAs a little harder. Look, everybody's going to have an opinion in this cycle. I've seen a lot of influencers say that the cycle's over. Some people are saying the cycle's coming to an end. Some people say that we've just begun. And all I can tell you is that all three of those scenarios are all wrong. Nobody knows anything. I've seen a lot of the, Discord and YouTube gurus and all that, they're all giving their analysis, and, I can tell you right now, somebody's going to be right and somebody's going to be wrong. But I can tell you for one thing for sure that the crypto markets are not done right now. And there's money on the table to be made. So you just got to make the decision what route you're going to take. So we just covered XRP. Look, if you want to, keep playing this wait and see game, I guess put in a buy order 217, 215. The price was just at, a couple days ago, it was literally at 205. You probably didn't buy it. You just want to keep playing this game, the wait and see. If it pulls back a little bit more, I'll buy. If it goes down to 190, I'll buy a game. then you got to do what you got to do. Like I said, at the end of the day, if we're looking for prices up here in the $3, if we're looking at for the prices up here in these $4, and if you really one of these people that think that XRP is going to the $5 and $10 zone, and you're really just tripping over a few cents, you're gonna miss this run up, guys. You're gonna miss the whole bull market or what's left of it. So I suggest that you guys get with the program and start really thinking about it, because if you're trying to play this, I'm trying not to lose that much money game. This is the crypto, and that's not always the way to go about it. You're gonna have to go through some turmoil. You're gonna have to go through some heat sometimes. That's just the way it is. All right, let's cover the next token, AVAX. All right, guys, I put in a buy order in a few days ago, 2089, I believe. I made a pretty hefty buy of some AVAX, and it came down from where it was. I'm under the water a little bit, but the thing with me, guys, I don't really freak out about stuff like that. At the end of the day, I'm thinking long term. My mindset is like up, 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 like up in here, up. So if I go down a little bit and I look like a jackass because I'm down $1 or so from where I bought, it is what it is. I don't get shooken out by stuff like this, guys. I bought over here around this area right here. We came all the way down here. I probably was the laughing stock at that one point, but look where we are now, guys. I'm down a couple cents. It ain't no biggie. That kind of stuff doesn't rattle me, guys, because like I said, I'm a long-term investor. I'm looking up here. I'm trying to get that $40 to $60 AVAX, double or even triple my money, and do something great with that money. So I'm here for the long term, not for the short term. If you guys are trying to get a better entry than me, anything below $20 is going to be prime. If you get back down here to the $18, you better throw the kitchen sink at it. We literally just came down here. So if you guys weren't scooping there, I don't know what to say to you. I even gave some buy alerts on that. So, and I updated both discords on that. So I just suggest guys that to, look into AVAX. They have some of the lowest TVL in a long time, but their price is going not up, but their wallet addresses are going up. So, they got a lot of integrations. They just signed that deal with FIFA. They're part of the World Liberty Fi. They got a lot of stuff going, guys. JD Vance holds them. So I'm bullish on AVAX. That's one of my biggest holdings in my portfolio. So just keep that on the radar. Then we got to talk about parcels. And I'm not going to cover every token, guys, that I talk about, because we'll be here forever. I just got to cover the main ones. We got that double bottom on parcels. I started loading up right here at this sub 8 cents. I hold a lot. I hold a lot. So, I'm not going to be buying anymore probably unless we go down to 4 cents. I'm trying to get back up here to this 14 cents, start taking some profits. But this double bottom, and I'm looking for probably another push up. Same thing when we came down here. A lot of people thought it was over. I'm not going to lie. I was even sweating down there a little bit too, but we had this big, massive push up. I think the same thing's going to happen again, guys. I'm still bullish. I'm looking for this 16 to 18 to 20 cents. I don't care what anybody says, guys. I'm bullish. I'm not giving up on parcels, man. I got a community behind it. We're pushing this bad boy, and zero hero. And then let's go over this token. We called this one out too at 89 cents. We got a nice push up to this almost $1.08. So whoever got that call, that was almost, let's see. We called it out here around about 90 cents. So that was almost an 80% pump, my dude. Wait, hold up. No, I'm tripping. No, I'm sorry. Man, I was over here hyping myself up, man. I'm tripping. 25%. I'm sorry, guys. I'm over here getting too excited over here. Yeah, so we called it out right here around 90 cents. We got that nice little 25% pump up. So that was a nice call. If you got a leverage trade on that, that was pretty massive. But even just a spot buy, fartcoin is sadly one of the biggest performers in the short term here with the altcoins and memes. It's just funny how this stuff kind of goes, man. We got the winners and losers in the market. And, the people have spoken. They want fartcoin to be the next big things. So, for me, if you guys want to pick up this, obviously your big heavy zones are going to be 70 cents around this area. Good buys are going to be around 90 to 89 cents. But most definitely, we come down here in these blue areas, man, I would be going really hard in the paint around this, 72 cents to 77 cents. And again, like I said, good buy zones would be around here 97 to 88 cents. Leverage, same thing. You could probably put a nice little entry here around here at the body of the wick right here, around 89 cents. Put your stop loss right here at 85 cents. And let's see how that goes. But yeah, man, like I said, this token is most definitely has a lot of bullish backers behind it. They're getting that Coinbase listing. So this thing could be the next Pepe. I know it cleared 1 billion. I'm hoping this thing could probably go maybe to 4 to 5 during a proper, bull season. Once the macro events are met, we'll see what happens. But guys, let me just go ahead and kill the video off real quick before I do that. And if you made it through this far of the video, just wanted to see if you guys could go through the sections below to the comments or the descriptions. Follow me on X. Please subscribe to the channel, guys. I'm trying to get to 1,000. I'm just trying to get to 1,000. I'm not trying to get to 500,000 or 100,000. Look, I'm just trying to get to 1,000. Okay, I need you guys' help to get me there. I only have 267 followers. I've been giving out some really good content over the few months. I gave out a few 3 to 4X's. Help your boy out, man. I need to at least get to 500 here, man. So I'm like I said, I'm trying to build up my socials, man. I've never really cared about that stuff too much, but now that I understand that for me to go to the next level, this is something that has to happen. So I need you guys' help to help me get me there. So if you guys could help me, I'd really appreciate it. And then also, too, guys, in about 8 days, we have that first live stream with the KGU. Time is going by really fast. I'm super nervous, but like I said in the last video, I most definitely will suit up for you guys, and I'm ready to finally be able to talk to you guys and talk crypto and get the family where they need to get to. And like I said in the last video, please start downloading the Coin Market Cap and all the little things that you guys need. That way, you guys are already front running the live stream. Okay. With that being said, you guys have a blessed night. Let's pray for everybody in California, man. Let's pray for this country. Let's hope that we can get us back on track. Until the next video, Jumpman Crypto out.